speed on that guy. That's the Warlock being played by today's trash tournament player, also known as Kickin. And he's going to be playing up against Dark Riku, rocking the Hive Tyrant. Nice shiny golden Hive Tyrant. Is that golden? Do you think that's golden, guys? Looks pretty golden to me. Maybe it's a bit more yellow. Anyway, going to be playing on Leviathan Hive, which is very fitting for the Hive Tyrant. A map in the process of being tyranniformed. But the Eldar, for whatever reason, not really wanting that. I don't think the Eldar know why they don't want that. The Eldar always seem to be getting involved in things that they really shouldn't be, even though they're a dying race. I feel like America is going to be the Eldar in 35 years. Anyway, so I believe this game was from a one-day tournament event not so long back. I don't know the context, to be honest with you, but hopefully we'll see some big dirty tryharding, because I love a little bit of tryhard gameplay. Warlock chilling on this side, hoping to encounter some Gaunts. Warlock's pretty brutal against them Gaunts early on with that Destructor. Should take off about 2/3 of their HP if it lands flush, but right now I don't know why he's being quite so defensive, because there's not really anything that can contest the Warlock. The Hive Tyrant obviously will win in 1v1, but the Hive Tyrant is slow, lacks a sidearm, you just run away from him, right? And that means the Warlock is basically free to do whatever the heck he wants. See, the issue here is the time in which the Warlock is taking the VP, the Hormagaunts could actually just push forward and gem bash. But Kickin is taking a very defensive approach, which is fair enough. Tyranids do have a rather large early game advantage, especially when you choose to go for only one Guardian, dropping the double gens early on. So it'll be interesting to see if he tries to contest this. He has no upgrades on his troops yet. We do see one Toxin Sack upgrade for the Termagants. Really good upgrade. Almost mandatory really if you want to use them in any serious combat. 30% damage increase and 10% HP even without the Cryptic Poison. It's kind of massive. But with the Shuriken coming to reinforce these Eldar troops, that's going to be a victory for Kickin, and Riku loses 2 Hormagaunt models, which is not really a big deal. Probably worth it to get the decap on these 2 points. The only problem is that Riku didn't contest this point, he just let the Warlock take it, so he isn't actually getting a VP lead as Riku at the moment, which is kind of crap. You know, if you're going to be leading your Hormagaunts and then having them forced off and pulling your main force back, you'd like to get something like a little bit of a VP lead out of it. This can be a pretty tough map actually to beat Eldar on when it comes to VPs in the late game. It's a very big map, and there's lots of areas on the sides of the map where you often don't walk by, so webway gates can be very potent. You know, things like here, sort of over here, down in this corner, over in this corner. You'll notice that the players will not send their troops across there very often. Okay, double Shurikens are on the field. To combat that, we've got the extended Carapace on the Hive Tyrant. Attempted wipe here on the Termagants. Should be able to get it with the Banshees, and they do. That is pretty huge. I wonder if they had the Toxin Sacks upgrade. I didn't notice. If you guys rewind the video, you should be able to see quite easily because they'll have the plus sign above it. So that is potentially a rather large loss. Even the default Termagants, it's fairly significant because now we're talking about delays to the Ravenous. And I actually find it quite odd that Dark Riku went for Warriors first. Warriors counter more ranged compositions, but there's only Guardians. They don't counter these suppression teams. Ravenous are perfect for that. And Warriors give you Synapse, but you already have Synapse if you're playing as the Hive Tyrants. Warriors would make more sense as the Lictor of the Ravener Alpha. So I do think that the Warrior first is a mistake, and it kind of opens you up to this situation. Banshees just kicking their ass. Hive Tyrant with his slow ass self needs to be very careful to not die in retreat to the Banshees right now. I don't even think we've seen a Destructor. What is the Warlock doing? It's just in range sense. That has to be a missed micro. Okay, and Riku's going to be replacing the lost termagants. Okay, good. I was going to say, that would be a mistake as well. You probably do want to replace the termagants because you need that DPS focus fire onto the Howling Banshees. They are, of course, cheaper than the Raveners. And you get your crippling poison too, which is nice. However, right now the priority is dealing with these shurikens because they're kind of taking the piss. They're really dominating the team, the big army versus army fights. So yeah, get the Raveners out. The problem right now is that Kickin is actually able to go tier 2 already. Is the Guardian Weapons team going to win this melee fight? Oh my god, it is. Wow. Termagants. Jesus, Riku, that was risky. That could have been... Oh my god, oh wow. Wow. I was just about to say, that could have been a wiped Termagant squad with a grenade. And he went for it, and then he got stuck on a fucking bush. So that was really unlucky. That probably would have been another wiped Termagant squad. You see the foliage is destroyed now though, so that won't happen again. So far I'd say this is a very dominant start for Kickin. He is a little bit behind on VPs, but map control honestly has been relatively even. And in terms of the fighting, the bleed, and that kind of thing, I say that Kickin has definitely had the advantage. And what's crazy about that is that Kickin isn't meant to. The advantage in tier 1 is definitely meant to go to the Hive Tyrant and the Tyranids in general. Now Kickin could really solidify that lead right now by getting something like a fast Falcon. Maybe a Wraith Lord would be a safer play. It's tricky. On a big map like this, getting transports is pretty nice. You know, they've got the speed that walkers lack. You can traverse this big map a lot easier. But the problem is, the Hive Tyrant in particular, as far as all of the Tyranid heroes go, is very good at dealing with transports. The ability, especially when he's already got the extended carapace, right? So you get the extended carapace so you can charge, and that way you can keep up with the high speed of transports. And then you get the Venom Cannon in tier 2. The Venom Cannon is really cool because it still shoots whilst moving, which is actually quite rare for Tyranids. Not a lot of Tyranid things shoot while moving. So we've got the tier 2 Banshee Exat coming in here with her dual mirror swords, instant special attack, and boom! Witchblade of Kurnus is out, so we see the Ethereal Slash. We should be getting some synaptic pops here. Ooh! Banshee's retreated slightly too early there. I would have liked to have seen them finish off this model. I feel like this model is literally going to die in one more hit. But they were fearful of a Rending Talons coming out of the Hive Tyrant there, which probably was imminent. Maybe wouldn't be worth it. So that was a victory for the Tyranids, and you can see why, even with the tier 2 upgrades and the tier 2 squad leaders, the Tyranids still win these big fights when the armies are actually together and the Tyranid has a proper force. Now the issue for the Tyranids starts in tier 2. We might actually see, we might see a Hive Tyrant dying here, but that Rending Talons that he saved should be able to keep him alive. Okay. Yeah, the issue now is going to be the power spike that you get from these squad leaders is pretty insane. Even the Guardian Warlock, but also Warp Spiders are pretty nutty. And the Raveners, they're very punishing in tier 1, but they don't really scale very well. Certainly not the ranged Raveners, they don't scale well at all, compared to the Eldar forces. So they kind of bully the Eldar in tier 1, but they're a lot less significant in tier 2. I'd really like to see something from Kickin quickly though. He's been tier 2 for a very long time. He could have had a Wraith Lord out ages ago, to be blunt. I don't know what's taking so long. Now, the thing with the Wraith Lord Falcon, as I say, the Falcon would be very good early on, and he would have had a timing window to get a full gem bash off before the Venom Cannon came out, because like I say, you could have got that Falcon ages ago. But the issue is that it scales worse against the Hive Tyrant because of the Venom Cannon. The Wraith Lord, on the other hand, it would come out a little bit later, it would take longer to get to the gen farm and be slower at bashing the gen farm. However, it wouldn't be quite so weak to the Hive Tyrant. But it's a big map, so you might not want to get the Wraith Lord, because it would take a long time to traverse this map. Obviously, vehicles can't retreat, so it's quite easy to overextend a Wraith Lord on a map like this, and find it isolated, and just in a position where it can't be saved. So instead, it seems we're going to see warp spider squads coming out. Well, maybe just one. We'll see. Maybe plural. Ripper's getting spawned in now at the capillary towers. So let's see. We've got a tower here. Any other towers around the map yet? No. So that appears that was the first. The Rippers will, of course, be fantastic at helping deal with these shurikens. The Rippers are actually immune to suppression. So the Rippers are going to take a nice little flank. We see some adrenal gland upgrades on the warriors. That's going to make them significantly more tanky. 75% in fact. Does lock them out of their anti-vehicle and anti-lobby infantry upgrades. Ravenous needs to force melee onto the shuriken. They haven't. They've been tied up in melee. Okay, the Hive Tyrant's going to turn around. So it's quite a scrappy engagement. The Rippers have nearly been taken out. The warriors are getting wrecked by the Banshees, even with that 75% extra HP. But the combination of Rippers and Hormagaunts is putting a lot of pressure onto these shurikens. Both the shurikens are now forced off. Where's the Banshees' HP? What? Banshees are so split up, Jesus Christ. Really going for the wipe on the warriors there. Looks like it would have been one more swing for the Banshees and that would be the kill. Can the warp spiders finish them off? One more teleport? Unfortunately... Oh my god, just missing it. Wow, 8 HP left on the Adrenal Gland warriors. I feel like that was a very poorly taken engagement by Riku. I don't know what the Hormagaunts are doing right now, running into melee with Aspect, Exarch, Banshees and a Warp Spider squad. Like, the Hormagaunts are just going to melt, and you can see that. And this was beautiful play by Kickin. As he disengaged from the Hormagaunts to allow the Warp Spiders to do full DPS, he made sure that he placed himself in retreat path. There you go. Beautiful execution. That is a wiped Hormagaun squad. Riku should not have sent the Hormagaunts in like that. If anything, he should have sent the Hive Tyrant in first to tank the Warp Spider damage and then the Hormagaunts come in afterwards. Sending the Hormagaunts in isolated straight away was very poorly. Down in this engagement, there were a lot of mistakes from Riku as well. Initially, the Raveners didn't tie up the Shuriken. The Hive Tyrant should not have been interested in the Shuriken. The Raveners should have dealt with that themselves. The Hive Tyrant needed to push through the center with the Hormagaunts and the Warriors. The Hive Tyrant needed to be there with his Roar in order to support the Warriors so they didn't get wrecked by the Banshees.
Generator operational.
The Rippers could have retained their position fighting the Shuriken, but the Hormagaunts should have been going onto the Warp Spider squad, which were free to shoot for that entire engagement. So some very sloppy engagements from Riku here. However, if we look at the VP situation, very advantageous for Riku. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't worry too much about that on this map if you're playing as Zelda, because you have a lot of tools to help you in the late game with a VP situation. Now this is a really bad situation for the Gouge Weapons team. Actually quite shocked that Kickin had the resolve there to keep it in play. So the Haywire Grenade goes off on the Tyrant Guard. That's going to prevent him from being able to attack and snaring him for a while. And you see, oh my god, look at the power melee DPS. Now it will go into Shield Wall, and while it's in this mode, not only does it regenerate against that vehicle armor, so the Banshees all of a sudden basically aren't really doing anything to it, just keeping it even. But there's no support right now, so they can just hack away at it slowly. Like, one squad of Termagants isn't going to do too much. Oh, beautiful special as well from the Warlock there. Hive Tyrant once again risks going down to the Banshees. The Banshees are a little bit out of control right now because Riku just let them do too much in the early game. He's kind of feeding XP. Ooh, I like this. So Kickin was deliberating about going tier 3 earlier, I noticed, but he cancels it, calls in an Autarch, and he's going to be getting the Fusion Gun, which is a Melter weapon. Melter does good damage against all targets, so that will pierce the vehicle armor and the shield wall in Tyrant Guard relatively effectively. It's going to take some time. It's not the highest DPS weapon in the game, but it should be able to do something about it. I was going to say, Shurikens need to move up and support this push. We do get a little bit of backlash there from Dying Warriors, and the Raveners are going to be forced off, and this should be the end of the Tyrant Guard. Now the Autarch can switch out to the Executioner Spear later on. That will make her a very nice tool against basically all of the infantry turrets. Autarch's actually really good in this mashup. The Scorpion Shield protecting you from the Pew Pew is really nice. The Scorpion Shield, if you don't know, is a passive ability of the Autarch. Basically, she gives a damage resistance aura around her to range attacks specifically. Very, very powerful. It's good because Tyranids often rely on ranged damage to try and deal with your melee. Not gonna lie, I don't know why Riku's fighting so hard to save a Tyrant Guard. Where did the Auto go? Oh my god, the Auto was in melee for ages of the Tyrant Guard. Oh my god, Kickin, please. Please. You're desperately trying to save this Tyrant Guard. I mean, it is bleeding HP. It's getting very close to death. Oh, the grenade should do it. Yeah, nicely done. A lot of bleed though for Kickin. This kind of normalizes their economy. Wow, very clutch Haywire Grenade there, actually saving the Warlock. One more hit, of course, would have took him out there. Poor Tyrant Guard is a little bit bamboozled. Not sure how the Haywire Grenades affect a Tyrant Guard, but there you go. And Riku's going all in on the Tyrant Guard spam right now. Whereas Kickin goes tier 3. Now the thing is, if Kickin goes... Oh, lazy. Lazy plays from Riku. No. Desperate to keep the VP pressure on, he burrows over the terrain right into the firing arc of his shuriken. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, it appears he cancelled that Tyrant Guard. He's going to go tier 3 himself. It's almost like he's listening. What I was worried about, the Tyrant Guard spam, what Riku is trying to do there with that thought is win this game on VPs, and that's probably why he also made that very lazy, as I called it, play with the Raveners. The problem is that if Kickin goes tier 3, he can just get Sick Council. You thought these Banshees were putting in work, with the support of the Autark now as well, to give them that damage and speed boost with a jump. Oh my god, wait till you see Sick Council. Yep, and that is an executed Tyrant Guard. So yeah, like I say, the Tyrant Guard, they're just not really doing a whole lot right now. Now these things need to be so careful. Yep, instant retreat from the Warriors, that's very wise. Yeah, and a Hive Tyrant charging out, that's necessary. I mean, honestly, Riku right now is in such a bad position in terms of the actual military combat. He is so far behind. But Kickin honestly should be putting a bit more focus on the VPs. I don't think he needs all these troops here bashing. The Guardians at the very least can go down, go take his natural VP back. There's only Terminus running around. I can't remember which engagement Riku lost the other Terminus. I feel like it was a big engagement down here, and he lost the Terminus again. So Riku's been playing really sloppy this game, I must admit. I think Kickin is drastically outplaying him. Just the bloody VP seem to be carrying right now. Speaking of outplaying though, Kickin made a bit of a mistake there, failing to set up his shuriken at the correct time when Terminus then just got into melee. Kind of a risky game for the Terminus because it could very easily retreat through this path for all of the Eldar shitters. Beautiful seismic roar though. Did some good damage to the Banshees, but unfortunately, yeah, they're just getting out of control. Now they're level 3, so they're getting tankier and tankier, and the sheer DPS output here from the Eldar is nuts. When you compare it to just basic Raveners with no range synapse, and then the Warriors, which are very tanky but don't really do a lot of damage. Yeah, it's rough. So we're going to see a Barb Strangler kind of effects. I like that choice. Right now, all of the Eldar threats are infantry based, and Seer Council could be very deadly as well. This is what I worried about. Yep, Termagant's down. You see, Riku should be thinking about that kind of stuff. Should have seen that coming. Should have pulled them back all the way to here before retreating them. Because that's going to hurt his map control, you know. He's got a little window right now where he's pretty good with his kind of effects, but it is a little window because Kickin has a lot of resources, probably saving up for an avatar at this point. I mean, you could always get the Fire Prism, that would be a pretty good counter to this, but like the Falcon earlier, the Fire Prism would be extremely vulnerable to a charging Hive Tyrant with a Venom Cannon. That'd be the issue. So I don't necessarily disagree with Kickin going for the avatar. And the avatar actually supporting the Water Spiders, the Banshees right now could actually be decent. Normally the buffs aren't very effective, but Banshees and Water Spiders right now are clearly the superior infantry on the battlefield. Making them immune to suppression from the Barb Strangler would be quite hilarious.
From here, we may control the flow of
and of course, the avatar will slaughter the Bow Strangler can effects in melee. Because the Bow Strangler can effects turning into a ranged variant loses its melee resist.
Just as you require. The enemy has destroyed one of our structures.
What's going on over here? Just breaking the capillary tower right outside his base. Yeah, it is going to be the Avatar on the way. The VP differential is normalizing a little bit. Now just 100 VP lead for Riku. I do not know how Riku is going to be able to deal with this Avatar. I wonder, the new Death Spitter upgrade for the Venom Brood makes them do Inferno damage. I wonder if that's actually better DPS against these big fat targets than the Venom Cannons. Because the Venom Cannons suck against infantry because they miss loads, not because the actual damage type's bad. So I wonder. I don't know, yeah, the more traditional... Oh, wait, no, I'm getting the portraits mixed up. I was going to say the more traditional counter would be an Eurothrub, but why would he get an Eurothrub anyway? He hasn't seen the Avatar yet. The Eurothrub is a fantastic counter because it does percentage-based damage that is psychic damage type. So it gets... It's percentage-based damage, so it does low to the Avatar who has massive amounts of max HP. But then, it gets multiplied even further by the Psychic modifier, which does bonus against the super heavy infantry armor of the Avatar. So let's see, the Avatar is now moving out. Going to be a bit of a shock for Riku this, I think. And I really think Riku is a little bit screwed. But, you know, he's got a Lictor. So... faster capping on this guy, pretty decent little fighter, 1v1. And you can see he can infiltrate without draining energy, it just prevents him from regaining energy whilst he's infiltrating. So he's a sneaky boy for sure, and if he's used correctly, he might actually be very good in the late game here for contesting the VPs. You see he's going to get straight on that VP, utilise his faster capping, going to pull in the attack. Look at the size of those tendrils. Oh, beautifully done. Lictor immediately paying for himself. So do you see how far the Autarch got flung there by the flesh hooks? The Lictor Alpha's flesh hook used to be like that. That is the basic flesh hook. Can you imagine that? The Lictor Alpha at the start of the game able to pull a fucking model that far? Just imagine that on your Guardsman Sergeant. Yeah, it was rough. But yeah, the tier 3 Lictor still has that. I mean, it's far more acceptable when it's on a relatively squishy and expensive tier 3 single entity. But yeah, that Lictor putting in basically enough work to justify his cost already there. And you see what he's doing, he's straight for the VPs, which is beautiful for Riku. This might be enough. Now the Carnifex has to kite the Avatar, it will get wrecked 1v1 pretty hard. We don't really see any not any AV, sorry. Well, we don't see any AV, but we don't see anything that can take out the super heavy infantry of the Avatar either. So this is kind of like the lane tactics. Carnifex trying to stay relevant, it is actually putting in some pretty decent work with its Strangleform cannon here, but Haywire is going to shut it down for a while. Going to snare it, it really needs to get out of there. There is now Bright Lance on the field as well. The Hive Tyrant actually might be able to wipe it. Oh my god, that was close. Literally one more hit and it would have wiped it. Big mistake from Riku, why is he not moving this Carnifex? Fortunately, the Avatar's ability to do damage against things that are actually running away from it is not amazing, because he's not very fast. Wouldn't it be interesting if the Avatar had a good melee charge? That'd be one way to make him way better, actually. Oh, the other Haywire. This could be the end of the Carnifex. One more hit from the Avatar will do it. Come on, Avatar. Swing that sword, daddy. Boom. Oh my gosh. This guy is quite uncontested. The Neurothrup comes out now, but let's see how much damage it does. So we're on like Oh my god, it really does do quite a lot, doesn't it? Jesus. I swear we were on like 4,900 HP. Go back and have a look, guys. How much HP was he on? Nothing else was attacking it there except from the paroxysm. And yeah, it just slapped down like 25% of the avatar's HP. That's kind of nuts. Great counter to the avatar. Because of course the avatar needs to go back to base to heal. So yeah, you don't kill it instantly. That'd be absurd. It's a super unit, but you can drop its HP very quickly, force it off back to the base. Wow, Banshee's getting wrecked there by the Lictor on the Hive Tyrant. I like to see it. Riku might still be in this, guys. Might still be in this. I mean, he is bleeding VPs. He has not had a VP lead for a very long time right now. I didn't see what happened with the Lictor down here. Whether or not he was able to get that cap. Clearly he wasn't able to retain a 2 cap for very long. Yeah, Seer Council now on the way. This could be tough. This is where the Tyranids wish that they had some strong late game infantry. Alas, they do not. So it's really, really hard. Like, what can counter the Seer Council? Well, your best bet's like Gene Stealers, but they're not really a proper counter. They're just kind of on par. And that's with melee Synapse, but the Seer Council then can leap onto the Warrior Brood, knock them over and rip them to pieces and cause Synapse backlash. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there really is a good option to kill Seer Council as the Tyranids, other than Carnifex, right? But you don't want to go Carnifex because there's already a Bright Lance. The Avatar can just 1v1 it in melee. Yeah, it's really hard. Really hard. Avatar chasing down the bloody Neurofro. Oh, getting a bit ambitious here though. Using a Wailing Doom right in the middle of a paroxysm, not ideal. We see the Without Number Global being used, so we've got some Termagants and Homagants on this side. Lictor was forced off by something, I don't know what. Here's the Shuriken. Yeah, probably retreated, went straight into the Webway Gate, back out here. You see the Webway Gate is coming in now. Really coming into effect, extremely useful for helping Kickin maintain his map control. Seers are here. Good luck with Termagants. They do finish the cap. Hive Tyrant can get on the cap as well, you can't knock him over. Might be able to knock the Warriors over, but you can't knock over the Hive Tyrant. Okay, we see the Venom Brood now, so they're buffing up the Raveners. And of course they will do pretty decent damage against the Avatar as well, because they won't miss it like they miss normal infantry. Yeah, you can see the DPS coming out of the Venom Brood is nice. See the Crushing Claws, I don't really know why, to be honest. The DPS increase on the Crushing Claws is really not that good. You go from, what, 75 to 108? I mean, that's fine. It is good, but not so good that it's worth it if you don't need the anti-vehicle and you really are enjoying the ability from the Rending Talons, which I feel like Riku was. That was a nice snipe on the Warlock. I don't know why the Warlock committed to that fight, but oh, Hive Tyrant might be dying to Seer Council and retreat now. Oh yeah, the Autek got killed by the Lictor, didn't she, earlier, so she's back out now. Paroxysm goes in. Does slow the targets as well. It'll do decent damage to the Seers, but not quite as much as it does to the Avatar. Nice leap. Leaping onto some very injured Banshees here. They can't fight it on its own. However, the Seer's coming in. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for the Lictor. Why did the Lictor not get knocked over? That was weird. Going to be a dead XR. Oh my god, this Lictor! This Lictor is putting in crazy work. That's it. Retreat, 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 retreat. Oh my god, this is so risky. Riku, you absolute devil. Oh my god. Wow, this Lictor. Have you ever seen a Lictor put in work like this, guys? I honestly, I'm getting excited because I've never seen a Lictor put in work like that in freaking years, honestly. Love it. Killed the Autek instantly, constantly forcing off Shurikens, really putting the pressure on for the map control. And I love that play, really weakening the Seers down here, and then when the fight turned against him, leapt away. Meanwhile, the enemy was soaking up loads of damage from the Paroxysm, so really nice use of the more niche Tyranid tier 3 tools here from Dark Riku. Now you'll see Paroxysm not doing too much against the Shuriken weapons team. Neurofrog throwing out all of its abilities here, just trying to delay the Eldar troops from being able to get this cap. What's going on over here? We've got Venom Brood. Venom Brood could actually come out and just melee the Shuriken to death. They do actually have decent melee, as you would expect given the state of these claws, but instead we're going to see a Tyranna formation coming down here, which might very well wipe the Shuriken. No, of course it doesn't. Melee on retreat, boom, Venom Brood, get it. Now the Venom Brood can move down, take the natural VP of Kickin. Instead, Kickin is focused on the contested side. War Spiders do have to get out of there, pushed off by the Lictor and the Hive Tyrant, and they can now move down and support their lovely Venom Brood, taking the natural VP. Probably just want to get the Lictor on the capped cap faster. Well, after you get the wipe on the War Spider squad, there you go. Did they wipe? Oh my god, they wiped. Riku's going to win this. He's actually going to win this. Kickin is capitulating. He is dropping... He surrendered! Kickin surrendered! Dark Riku did it. He made the comeback. After really being outplayed for most of the early game there. Some absolutely beautiful Lictor and Neurofrog play. Lictor, nearly level 3 at the end of this game. You really like to see it. That was awesome. Awesome usage of the Lictor. There you go. If ever you guys were wondering, why would you ever get tier 3 and get a Lictor when you could spam counterfex? You just seen it in front of your eyes. Beautiful Lictor play to secure the victory for Dark Riku. Today's trash tournament player throwing games that should have definitely been in his favour. But no, very good play from Kickin as well, actually. Really did dominate Riku for most of that early game. I'm not really sure what happened there in the ending. I guess he took some risky engagements. Like over here, I really thought that Lictor was going to die to the Seer Council. Riku held it in and wiped the Seers. Clearly Kickin was like me and thought the Seers were going to get the wipe on the Lictor and then he would have retreated. But no, the fucking Lictor killed them. Obviously with support. But that was amazing, and I guess a few of those plays start building up. The mental... You start losing the mental aspect of this. Remember, this is a tournament game. And all of a sudden capitulation steps in and you've got squad wipes left, right and centre. But there you go, that is all from your boy SCD today. I hope you guys did enjoy that one. If you want more, check out the Patreon. Torpid, signing out.